Welcome back to day two of our 30 days Azure Data Factory Challenge. Thank you for being here. And today, we're going to be answering one of the most common questions, in database development and engineering. Um, before before we dive in, I, I want to say that let's make this content better together because I've designed the series, you know, as short, focused videos, so the content is easier to absorb and and let's be honest, not everyone has time to sit through, hours long lessons, and not everyone has patience either. So this way, I'll keep it short and to the point. The plan is to have one video a day, and so the series will will be done within 30 days. So with that said, I want your input. So let me know, do you prefer, short episodes like this, or would you rather have, longer, more in-depth sessions? Uh, Let me know in the comments because your yeah, your feedback really, shapes the series and makes this content as good as possible. Also, if there's anything you like or anything you'd like me to change or explain differently, just drop a comment. I read and respond to everything. And if you're enjoying the content so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel and means a lot to me. All right. So with that said, so let's get started. So like I mentioned earlier, you know, today we're going to be answering one of the most common questions developers and data engineers have. That question is, when should I use Azure Data Factory or ADF, or when should I use SSIS or Synapse Pipelines? So let's break it down. So first of all, why do this comparison? Why should we, compare ADF with SSIS or Synapse? So all of the three tools, ADF, SSIS, and Synapse, help you move and transform data, but they were designed for, very different workloads and environments. So so because of that, knowing the difference will help you pick, the right tools for for your job, and also, avoid, frustrations, wasted effort, and basically help you build, efficient, scalable data pipelines. All right, so let's start with SSIS, or SQL Server Integration Services. So SSIS is a very powerful ETL tool, that comes with SQL Server. So I think I defined what ETL is in the past as extract, transform, and load. That's for the data. It's desktop based and most often used on-premise databases and workflows. So if your company is running everything, on-prem, servers, and you need to do some kind of data transformation or ETL, then SSIS will be the one most likely that you would use. Uh, but the issue is SSIS it's not a cloud native. So deploying it in Azure means that you have to, spin up special integration runtime, which adds, complexity and cost to your project. And SSIS is also the older brother of Azure Data Factory. So this is uh, basically SSIS IDE or UI that you use to build your SSIS packages. Synapse pipeline. So what's a what's a Synapse pipeline? So Synapse pipelines they live inside Azure Synapse Analytics. So that's a Microsoft platform for large scale analytics and data lakes. So if you're working with terabytes of data, or like Spark Notebook or data warehouse, then Synapse pipelines would be just perfect for you. But for everyday, data movement or simple ETLs, this would be an overkill. So as you can see here, this is similar to similar to the SSIS ID that I showed you. This is this is a Synapse and this is a Synapse Studio in Azure. I mean, they look very similar, and basically they have similar tasks. Okay, so let's talk about ADF. Okay, then I know we talked in the last slide. We talked, overall, what really the ADF is, but we didn't really go deeper into what ADF is. So ADF it's a fully managed serverless low code ETL tool. So you may ask, what does that mean? Okay, that means you don't need to manage any infrastructure. That's why it's fully managed and serverless. No need to provision VMs, or no need to scale clusters or worry about patching your servers and maintaining servers and anything like that. It's going to be Azure handles you know all of the compute behind the scenes. So you just focus on you know, building your data pipelines and you just focus on your project, what you have. So the key benefit for this is you can focus on the logic, not the infrastructure, and it's really ideal for like small teams or if if you have to deliver stuff fast, then this would be good for you. Also, it's a low code UI and data flows, which means that you know, ADF provides us with a drag and drop interface to help us build, pipelines, you know, visually. No, no heavy coding or anything required. So you drag and drop, and then your your pipelines will be built. And these data flows, they allow you to transform data with a, with a visual interface, not the code. So it's like I mean this part is similar to it. The drag and drop part is it's similar to SSIS or Power BI. So but under the hood, ADF is going to convert and transform would transform it into Spark jobs. So this like ADF will be great, for analysts or developers or engineers who want, fast, you know, who want fast results, and then they don't have to write whole code. So, and unlike SSIS, this is built for the cloud, and it integrates SSIS integrates with a lot of data sources, but this one integrates with over 90 uh, you know data sources, and it works both on cloud and on-prem. It also it also supports CI/CD, so, and supports the CI/CD with supports CI/CD, with Git and Azure DevOps. So this ADF directly integrates with the Git repositories, including like I mentioned, that's with Azure DevOps and GitHub. You can also version control your pipelines, and and then you can also collaborate with teams, and you can deploy your changes from dev to test to prod using uh, these pipelines. So basically, this unlike SSIS, this brings more modern DevOps uh, practices. In addition, uh, ADF is also the pricing. The pricing for ADF is consumption based. You only pay for what you use in ADF, and you'll be charged per pipeline activity run and data flow compute time. You know, s- so this will be great for startups and budget conscious teams, and it's also I think I mentioned this. It also It's also hybrid cloud and on-prem, the capability of hybrid cloud and on-prem integration. So, like I said, mentioned earlier, ADF, can connect to 90 plus uh, connections. So it can connect to cloud data, which is blah or SQL or REST or Salesforce or on-prem SQL Server, Oracle, or file systems, you know, by a hosted integration runtime. So that means this ADF seamlessly can bridge on-prem plus on-prem and cloud. So you wouldn't have to migrate everything before using ADF. So like Synapse, this is this is where you build your pipelines. This is where you build your ADF. So now that now that we know what each one of them do, each one of them does, so we can answer the question when to use what, right? So how do they compare? So you use SSIS if your data lives entirely on-prem, and you don't have to do anything in Azure, and use Synapse pipelines for complex analytics and massive massive data sets. And then we use ADF, you know, if you for flexible, scalable. you know, if your data or if your environment is cloud first ETL across all your data source, meaning like if your database or if your data, most of your data is in Azure, then it makes sense to use ADF. So, okay, so now that you know the strength and weakness of each platform, so you- we're ready we're ready to dive into the core components of ADF, which is pipelines, data set, uh, link servers, and triggers. So that's gonna be coming in day three. And if you know if you have any questions, once again, don't forget uh, you can add it to the comment section, and I'll answer it. So this is going to this is going to complete uh, day two session, and like I mentioned, next the next day three uh, video is gonna it's gonna dive into the core components of ADF. That's the pipelines, the data sets, the link service, and and the triggers. So don't forget to subscribe and download the the free PDF roadmap that I have if you haven't already, and also comment you know comment below and tell me which tools you're using right now. If you're using SSIS, Synapse, or ADF, or you can comment if you haven't used any of them. And like I said, I reply to every comment and would love to hear your experience, and would like to see as you get more knowledge. And thank you again, for watching this video and for taking your time out of your day. And see you on in our day three video tomorrow.